Hello, Devlin here, and welcome to another edition of my pirate radio show. I am fully clothed today because, well, that means I have a co-host in the thing because I can't do this in my undies or less. I'm very excited about today's show. I'm always excited when I have a co-host, and especially one that I really know only bits and pieces. And surprise, surprise, somebody I did not meet at the staircase, which will probably shock many people right now. But it probably won't shock you because the other people I meet are somebody I used to work with. I met this guy when Target first opened. I was really nervous the first day. We did like 6 days of this thing called Planorama or something like that. And we basically built the store in those 6 days. And I was nervous as hell. I didn't know anyone. I had not. And this man is one of the first people I met. And we only worked together on the first day. But he was filthy. He was pretty. I could tell he was naughty. And I said, oh, I'm going to get along with this guy really well. And we only spent, lunch hours and breaks together. But I remember talking about things like fetishes. I remember cannibalism, I believe. I can't even imagine this stuff, but I remember saying, wow, this guy is dark. And dark in a very humorous way. And he crossed my path a little while ago, and he mentioned that he listened to the podcast a little. And I thought he would make a fun guest because I could get to know him. It's a cheap way that I get to hang out with him for a little bit. And I have no clue where this is going to go. But I am excited, and here he is. My co-host today is James Paquette.
Thank you for that introduction.
I know. I hope I didn't build it up too much because now I'm always worried when I say he's really dark and dirty, and then we're probably going to be like very polite. And, hey, did you watch Downton Abbey last week? But how are you?
I'm doing quite well actually. It's again, like when I saw and listening to the podcast and so on, I just wanted to be a part of it, and it's again, like we've never really hung out, but I've always had good times, and it's it was like obviously when we first got together, we at Target and so on, we had a great time. Crossing a lot of lines, making people blush around us and so on.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that as well.
And I like that when I saw you, it clicked in. I said, why never I thought of James as a guest? Because, as I said, we only know each other a little bit from Target. You actually left before the whole chaos came.
I sensed that the ship was sinking, and like a rat, I ran for the door.
Yeah, you ran even before it was closed.
We they at Target at the time posted on the wall that they were losing $10 million for the first annual, and I'm like, I'm out of here. And then I got like a 10-cent raise for doing busting my ass, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gone.
You were in shipping and receiving, were you not? We weren't even in the same thing. So
logistics.
Is that what it was called? Yeah, I know they all had their different. Yeah, I was in pricing, so we only literally saw each other on breaks or if I came back to shoot the shit a little bit.
Which, good times.
It was. And I always found you fascinating because you're a creative person. I couldn't remember exactly what you did, but I remember that you were always talking about you created stuff. And we'll get to that. I'm going to interview you a bit because I did not know you. Where were you born?
Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario.
Very nice. I only know that. I've never been. Yeah. Did you live there a long time?
I lived there till about, when did I move? About 13-ish? 13, 14 when I moved. We moved out west for a bit, and then for like a year, and then we moved back. But for the most part, I was there. And then my mom, she moved to Barrie with her sister lived in Barrie. Mm-hmm. She met a man, got remarried, and we traveled all over Canada, lived all over the States, all kinds of stuff. So I moved around, like every year I'd be moving, and it was pretty hard on me.
So when did you get to Hamilton?
I got to Hamilton 1997.
And what made you come to Hamilton? Was there a reason?
Basically, we had run into a lot of financial problems and so on.
So I just say, let's go to Hamilton.
Hamilton, dirt town.
Sorry, I
But,
shouldn't laugh at your financial woes.
No, trust me, it's pretty funny. And we were leaving, I think at the time we were living on a reservation because my stepdad is Native American.
Okay.
And good man. It was good times. He taught me a lot, right? And we're just staying with people from here and there, and so on, like as you're trying to build the family business and stuff. And just kind of it turned south a little bit, and we went to one of his best friends lived in Hamilton, and he was born and raised in Hamilton. He's from here, St. Catharines area, kind of stuff, right? And he hates the city, whatever. But he was like, you know what? I got connections here. Let's go. Showed up. And I fell in love with the city, actually, and it's they left, they were moving again, and I said to my mom, I'm not coming. I'm like 18, 19 years old. I'm still at my last year of high school, and I barely knew anybody. I was only here a couple months, and I just made my way.
And you did really, and you just stayed.
Yeah, I stayed.
Now I found out some. I was stalking you on Facebook before you came, and you're a very private person. You don't go on Facebook.
Not a lot. No, I'm more of a creeper. I like to search people's photos and.
But you have a wonderful profile picture of you as a king.
Yes,
that's a very
King
dubious.
James. King James all the way.
Is that your nickname, or you just like to think?
Actually, the only nickname I go by is when I was in the reserves. I've never let anybody call me a pet name, nothing like that. But in the reserves, everybody got nicknames and so on like that. And a lot of people couldn't pronounce my last name, Paquette. And they'd call me Pockets. And I'd be like, Pockets. And that has kind of followed me.
Do you have a lot of pockets?
No.
I see just regular jeans.
Just regular jeans and so on like that, but... it
just sounds like some sad clown name.
It's Pockets, right? It is a sad... it's a sad name. But it's endearing to me, and a handful of people, close to me and stuff like that. Anybody can really call me that. Like friends and so on like that can refer to me as Pockets when they find out, and it's endearing to me, actually. So it's the only name I let anybody really call me by other than my name. I'm not a Jim. I'm not a Jamie.
Jimmy.
Not even close. Right? I am.
So
James,
I'm not going to try to call you that.
Yeah,
Jimmy, James.
My friends call me that when they want to piss me off. Right? Listen, Jim.
Reminds me of that Monty Python skit with may I call you Sugar Lumps?
Yeah. Exactly.
No, my name's James. That's awesome, though. But you're endeared by.
It's the only name that I allow anybody to call me by, other than my full official name.
That's nice.
My rapper name is JWJP. So
everybody should have a rapper name. Now, as I said, I was stalking you on Facebook, and I found out we actually have something in common.
Okay.
Scott Park.
Yes.
Now, we didn't go at the same time.
No.
James is younger than me, I must say. But we actually are from the alumni. You must have been near the end just before the wrecking ball came in.
I show up and shit goes down. So.
Were you one of the last years there?
Yeah. So I was there. I graduated in 98, I believe. And I stayed till about 99. I kind of fucked around a bit. I hung out. I was like getting older. But there's... I had friends there and stuff, and I was working and had my own apartment and going to high school, so I tried to have fun.
Were you you seem like you would have been a wild guy.
I was actually extremely quiet.
Were you?
Extremely quiet. I was brutalized growing up.
Like bullied?
Bullied, hugely bullied.
Wow.
I'm not... I don't fit in a lot of places. Today, I found my own way, and like going to, I was very, very shy. Like I was always shy, but in front of people, I'm not. But on one-on-one and so on, and when I started moving around, for instance, I was 5 years old and I wanted to get my ear pierced.
Okay.
Johnny Depp had his ear pierced, and I was in love with Johnny Depp. I'm like, he's the coolest shit I've ever seen. 21 Jump Street.
I was about to say, was it 21 Jump Street?
And I'm like, man, I gotta get my ear pierced. And I begged my mom to get my ear pierced. She said, no. Because a lot of guys at the time didn't really have it.
Yeah.
It was the early 80s and stuff, right? And she's like, when you're 8 years old, if you still want it, you can get your ear pierced. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Still fair, yeah.
And then 3 years, I didn't say shit for 3 years. Okay, nothing. Okay, she's like, what do you want for your 8th birthday? I'm like, oh, you promised to get my ear pierced. And I'm freaking out, right? And she's like, holy shit, like, you still want that? And I'm like, of course.
And you just held on to it.
I held on to it. I got my ear pierced, and I never looked back. But when I went to school, I was faggot, I was gay, I was, you name it, whatever like that. People, like, my whole life changed at that moment. I became something other than what I was, you know? And I changed at that moment in my life, right?
How?
I changed because I realized that I'm the same goddamn person. Like, I'm 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm 8 years
old. You got a hole in your head.
I'm the same person that I was before, but now I'm this outcast because I got my ear pierced. And it's like, for what? There's a lot of people. Pirates, man. You're going to call a pirate a faggot? Like, fuck you. You're going to get shot.
Not a lot of pirates walking around in the 80s, 90s.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's like, it's not... It doesn't change your sexuality. It doesn't anything like that.
No.
I was girl crazy like you wouldn't believe, you know? But...
I was gay, and when I got my ear, I was always like, okay, which side do I get it on? Which
side?
Because I don't want anyone to know.
Gay side, yeah.
And to this day, I still...
Isn't that ridiculous?
It
is. I mean, like, it's like, to be honest, I look around and I kind of want to get the other one pierced.
Me too. I've always said...
You know, just to push the envelope, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you want to call me whatever, you call me whatever. It doesn't... You can call me fucking blue, and I'm not fucking blue. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't change who I am. Right?
Yeah, I was very... Like, because I knew I was gay at, like, 7 or 8.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, I knew there was something. I didn't know, like, the term, but I knew that I was... like, and I still... thought I was going to get married, have kids. I thought it was just, this is just something that happens.
That's the beauty of being a child, okay? You're not put into boxes and so on like that. You are what you are.
Yeah.
You might not know what it is. A child is not a sexual being at all.
No.
But you can start to see your sexual orientation and so on like that by what you're interested in and what you're crazy about.
Yeah.
You know, like I mentioned earlier, I was a runway model. And that
was mind blowing. Like a child.
So I was a child one. Like 4 years old, I started. I've won trophies and so on like that on it, like top models and things like that.
That's mind blowing.
I follow direction. I have charismatic on stage, things like that. Like everybody wanted me. I was a cute little kid, you know, and until I got depressed about 8 years old. You know, I wonder why, right? Everybody's picking on me. Right?
Yeah, I was about to say that earring changed your fucking life.
Changed my whole life. Like it's fucking glasses, whatever. Like if that's, I'll get to that.
Glasses.
I'll get to that too in a minute, right?
Yeah, we didn't go through the Harry Potter fucking years where it was good. It was
cool, right?
Yeah.
But so obviously my mom had to change me and stuff between shows and stuff. So she's not going to change me in the guys' change room. So I'm changing in the girls' change room. They're all walking around like stockings and lingerie and all kinds of whatever that they're doing for the show. Today I got a lingerie fetish, man. Like, I mean, I remember I was like, holy shit, like, you know, like I'm crazy, like from that age on. Like, girls.
We'll save that for a later topic.
You know, but yeah, it was like, but it again, like what you're exposed to, you can develop and change and something like that.
And you know what? I believe fetishes start that early.
Oh yeah, for sure. Silky things like my baby blankets, like the silky satiny things. Oh, I love it.
I said something once on a bus. I don't even know why I'm going through this during your interview part. But I remember sitting on a bus with my friend, and I saw a mom was sitting there with her son, very, like, just calmly caressing the back of his ear. Yeah. And it was just a non-sexual thing. Yeah. And I said to my friend, that's going to be a sexual fetish for him when he gets older. Yeah. His ears are going to be... Because what the fuck are you thinking of that with your... I'm like, I am telling you. Yeah. We get
could be,
fucked up. Yeah. In even the sweetest things can be turned into, like, But
exactly.
Moving on. Did you? You said you changed as a person. Did you?
Changed,
like how? Did you give up modeling at
I did 8? Actually. Like the modeling agency that I worked for, it was sold, and the people that came on, just a bunch of idiots, you know. And I was making good money at that time. Actually, probably like it wasn't until my 20s that I started making more money than what I was making when I was like,
wow.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, you'd make a couple $100 a show here or there and stuff in the 80s and stuff. That's good money. We'd save it. I'd buy movies, buy toys, whatever like that. Like, I wish I would have saved it, you know, done something with it or continue with it, right? But my mom let me do what I wanted, kind of thing, right?
Well, that's good.
And within reason, obviously, right? But
see, James, I knew interviewing you I'd find out things, but to find out you were a child model blows me away.
Yeah. Yeah. So a few TV commercials in the suit and stuff like that. Just I was really wanted as a headliner, and when I'd come out on stage, people would just go crazy, whatever, because I'd come out and I was, just the
I
man
know
at the
some
time,
people
right?
who got into that, and it was crazy from what I
Yeah.
hear. And like
It's a hard
little
life,
boys,
actually. It's a
because there
hard
weren't a
life.
lot of boy
Yeah.
models,
Yeah.
they stood out
Yeah.
because they're
Actually,
look how
I was
sweet,
the youngest.
coming out.
I was the youngest professional model in Canada for a long time. I mean, there might be some now, but like starting off at 4 or 5 years old and so on like that. They're like, oh, they wouldn't accept me, but they're like, you know what? They asked me to do some things, and as a little audition, and I did it perfectly. I followed direction. I have almost like an eidetic memory, right? And so just learning the routine and just doing like whatever. Like I was carefree, and I was the very high IQ. This is the time that I'm bragging about myself, whatever like that.
No, this
it's
is
always
your
weird,
part,
whatever.
yeah.
Right? But I've been extremely high IQ. I was for the most part of my life always smarter than everybody that I'd meet and so on, even from a young age and stuff, right? Like I'd had my problems and stuff like phonics. I had a hell of a time with. I'd spell it the way it sounds or what have you like that, right?
But that doesn't mean you're still not.
No, exactly.
high
But when I learned it,
yeah.
though, it was boom. That was it. Like my life took in a totally different direction from that as well, right? But I 8 years old was a very trying time, and what changed me was a few things actually. Number one, I got my ear pierced. A few years before that, I had gotten glasses. The eye doctor was extremely rude to me. I'm like, I don't need glasses. I don't need them. Whatever. I'm fine. I can see fine. And he's like, he brings me over to the window, and he's like, can you read that license plate across the street? And I'm like, no, nobody can. He brings over the huge machine that you test your eyes.
Yeah, with the big eyes.
Basically binoculars. And he's like, can you see it now? And I'm like, yeah, I can see it, and I can read the numbers. And he's like, that's because you're flawed. You have a genetic flaw. I didn't even understand what that was really at 5 years old.
At 5, they're being assholes.
Devastated me. I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking flawed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like I'll never be perfect. You know what I mean? And it's like you don't even have a concept of that, but it just put a huge complex, And then I'd go to school, and I had a girlfriend at school, and when she saw that I had glasses, she had cancer, actually, a rare form of blood cancer, and her brother died from it, and she ended up with it as well, right? And she begged her parents to take her for eye testing, and she'd get glasses, but they were just glass to make me feel better. I mean, she was a wonderful person, whatever, right? And she died when I was 8. And so there's so much that happened at that moment, right? That I was like a little player kid and stuff like that. Like I was crazy about her, but I'd look at other girls and stuff, whatever, right? Yeah. But at that moment, though, I was so charismatic and so on, and nothing could touch me, if you will, right? But when she died, I felt guilty, and I was like, what am I, I mean? Like, she was crazy about me, and now she's gone. It was like, I grew up instantly at 8, and it's like this huge crazy factor in my life, right?
I'm sitting here with my mouth drawn open because it's like, you've seen a lot.
When I found out the last words that she said is like, it was about me. Like, don't let me be angry, and don't be hurt over it, whatever like that, right? I can never repay that back. You're on your deathbed, and her last thoughts in this world was of myself, right?
Yeah, and, that's mind-blowing.
I carried that with me, and I still do to this day. Like I could bawl right now. I could bawl right now about it, right? And it's like I'm fighting back, But I'm not sad about it. I'm touched.
Yeah, no.
And it changed me because I could have been just a piece of shit. Like the way that I was, I could talk to anybody. I could, I just understood people and so on like that very well. My mom, she went to school for psychology. And her professor, at that time period as well, right? So her professor said, if you could teach a person, a young kid, and so on like that, if you could teach them what you're learning, you have to explain it as if you're speaking to an 8-year-old, if you will, right? So she's like, oh, I've got a young son at home. So she'd come home and she'd start explaining psychology to me. And we'd study together. I could read at a young age and so on like that. So I grew up in a psychology household. Basically, I've got a university psychology degree by the time I was like 8, 10 years old and so on like that. So I understand people very, very, very well. And one of the things is that I could manipulate. You learn things. I'd walk up to a girl and be like, you look absolutely amazing in red. And she'd fucking wear red for a week. You know what I mean? So you play with the stuff, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know what I mean? Red, all kinds of stuff, red dresses, red shirts, red whatever like that. And it's like things like that. And I'm like, wow, this is great. But then when Mijou had died, I didn't want to be that person, and I didn't give a shit about what people thought of me and so on like that. Even though they pick on me and I changed, like in so many ways. I grew up so rapidly at that moment. It's not her fault. Like, I don't blame her. I'm not carrying it around like it's like pity me or whatever like that. It's not like that at all, right? It was a beautiful thing, and she made my life better. She made me a better person because I could have been a dick asshole that's just manipulating women and so on like that, because I was given the tools unintentionally. My mom didn't intend to give me those tools of how to talk to people and so on like that.
See, this is a big, what I'm a believer of, is that people always talk about we don't really make an impact, but here's a young girl who died early. Yeah. And her death changed you, which means we have the power to touch people, and even when you're not even trying to do it, you're just doing it, and that's the amazing thing about life.
It was an amazing gift. Like I think about it when I grew up and so on. The universe is 14 billion years old, okay, and it's going to last about another 14 billion years, give or take a billion years or whatever, right? We're here for what, 80 years? She was here for 8. Her life is so insignificant to the fact of the universe, but she mattered, and that's the difference, right?
Hey, that is powerful stuff. Holy shit. We're blowing our minds up here. So everybody's waiting for the naughty, and I've almost got him at tears.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as I'd love to get you there,
that's who I am, though.
That's your life.
That's where I came from, right? So that's why I'm so open about things, and it's a stranger will talk to me sitting down. I'm on the bus. People love to tell me their life story, and I always listen. Always engage, talk to them, and so on like that. Because I could be the last person they talk to. They could give me a piece of information that changes my whole friggin' life. And they have. They're like angels, right? Yeah. And it's something that's I can't deny the existence of higher power, higher reasoning, other things like that. It's always around the corner. I feel it, I see it. I don't know it. It's not anything that you can label or what have you like that. Put a box on it, put it in a book. You can't do that, Yeah. But it's there. It's an individual experience and so on, right?
And I do too. I actually have had moments where I just suddenly you're just, how am I trying to say it? You're with somebody and you're just having a normal day, talking, the whole works, and then something happens where you just look at that person and said, I was supposed to meet you. Yeah. There was a reason that then I actually, in my head, and yes, this is how little time I have, I like to actually think of when I first met them and how it happened and why we clicked and how easy it would have been that we didn't, but I just think that's I totally agree with you. And I just did a segment about how I refuse to say I'm insignificant in this universe. So many people are like, you're just dust in the wind, and it's like, but that dust can do a lot. Dust can do a lot of damage as well as help a lot of ways. So
put dust on your hard drive and see what happens. Yeah, it's gone, right?
So you university. Did you go to university or did you go to the reserves?
I did not. Away? I after high school, like at the end of high school, I joined the reserves.
Okay. What part of the reserves?
Artillery, 11th Field.
Wow. Military, man.
It's
I knew I was hot for you for a reason. Something mystique about the military.
I loved it. It was great. I had a band at the same time. Right. It was like something that I just loved to do.
Kind of music.
Metal all the way.
Okay.
Hard rock, metal.
Okay.
I've written country. I've written rap. Just for the sake of doing it because it's ridiculous. I'm not a rapper, but I do have a rapper name, and it is JWJP.
Do you have a country rap song you ever
No, I haven't. But
you could start that whole genre.
Whatever goes. You know, if I'm writing, the music is happening, and it's, you know, I think the first song I ever wrote with my buddy was a blues song. And it was called Wife Trouble. You know, we were like, I think 18 years old.
So you didn't even have a wife.
Didn't have a wife. Couldn't even understand the concept of that responsibility.
He is so ahead. He actually pictured what it might be like to have a wife and have the blues.
Exactly right. But you know, it's like Wife Trouble's all I got. You know, some of the lines in it. You know, it's I bury people alive. The only problem I have is that I have a slutty wife. Whatever. It just goes on and on, right? I have a slutty wife, you know, but
that's a little bit of it. We just played a clip from it.
But yeah, it was good times. We were just laughing, just being silly, right?
What pushed you to the reserves? We'll get back to music.
That's an interesting story, actually.
Well, some people, I'm always wondering what gets you there, because some people you can tell there's no life like it.
So I'm probably 4 years old.
Oh my God! Okay. You were thinking about this already?
And my mom was sleeping on the couch, okay, and I'm playing Legos on the floor, just by myself, whatever like that, right? And I hear a helicopter, like whatever like that, and I hear it outside, and I go running to the window, and I see a helicopter hovering over the roof of our house, military green. People are ziplining onto the roof. I feel fear that they're coming in. I have sense that shit's going down, and I'm back. I ran up to my mom, and I was like, "Oh, they're coming in, they're whatever." I'm freaking out, and she's like, "There's nothing there. Like, it's not happening, whatever." And I just knew that it was a part of my life. It was like a vision, right? That it was a part of me.
Oh, so it didn't happen?
It didn't. As far as I know, it didn't happen. I'm 40 years old, right? Fuck. Like, what do I know about it? Right?
I was sitting there. What the hell? You're thinking?
And I felt the calling of that information, of that knowledge for my entire life. My mom forbid me going to the army. You know, I've had family members in the army and so on like that. I'm not a violent person, but I'm loyal. I have a lot of talent. I can do a lot of good, and I can do a lot of bad. Okay, because I was very good, top of my section. You know, like my scores are off the charts and so on like that, right? Like it's right below sniper level of shooting, things like that. Like I can fuck shit up, okay? But when I went, it was a really tough time in my life, and I kind of like washed out a little bit, but I felt guilty of that, like I didn't complete something, so I went back. And when I went back, I was in for a couple of years, not long, whatever like that. Like I would have been longer, but I'll get to that in a minute. But so what ended up happening was that I excelled in it. Just boom, like top of the class, everything like that. Like I just go war games. I just unstoppable. You know what I mean? Like, and they'd send me out because I was raised on reservations and so on like that. I've had a lot of people that have taught me things that I won't go too far into. Okay, I was not entirely a good boy, right? But you know, there's been a couple of things that have gone down that I was a part of and so on like that I probably shouldn't have been. But on other levels,
I'll let you know,
right? I'll let you know, right? But nothing major, but you know, it's a part of some stuff, whatever.
Okay.
Right? My parents were upset about. Let's just say that, right? But
I love the wicked laugh that accompanied it, though, because I don't know, that makes it dangerous and sexy at the same time.
That's my classic laugh that everybody's like, "Oh, your laugh is so wicked," you know, it's an evil.
Oh yeah,
laugh.
You got it.
It is
awesome.
A devious laugh, and I have devious thoughts. Let's just say that I'm a good person. I know I'm a good person.
Yeah.
But I also know that I have the potential to be a really, really bad monster, you know, and it's that duality of constantly fighting that. I choose not to be.
No, we'll talk about that later.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
I'm there.
I'd be okay with it if shit went down, and I wouldn't lose an ounce of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I know that there's a difference between, and I think partly it has to do with a high level of intelligence. That I can rationalize anything, You know what I mean? And then by rationalizing it, well, if I'm at war and I actually end up hurting somebody, killing somebody, it's like, well, if they weren't meant to die, they wouldn't have died. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like you just kind of get that where it's like they knew what they were getting into just as much as I did. Fuck them, kind of thing, right? But it's that's a whole different level. You don't want to. I'll probably will feel bad, but then I just rationalize it and make it go away to begin with, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's I've come close to death so many times in my life that I know that, you know, it'll be something that'll be fucked up that'll take me out of this world, right?
Interesting.
But what was the question again? Oh, the army, right? Like why?
Yeah.
So when I went in, it's just this amazing thing, right? Like I belonged. Like it was like honestly, it was to this day, it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. It was more than a job, right? I was only reserve, peacetime. You know, there was nothing going on like Afghanistan and so on like that wasn't going on or anything. But we'd shovel snow, we'd help out communities, we'd do things. I worked there a lot. I'd go in and just you know, clean weapons and do things around and stuff that nobody wanted to do. I just wanted to be a part of it. I loved it. I got out on good terms, whatever, right? But my band at the time was doing some really, really big shows. We played the Opera House, things like that during the summertime. I was supposed to go away on training, and I asked for a leave of absence. And they're like, yeah, no problem, whatever, like that. I filled out the paperwork and so on. And then time's coming up, and my leave of absence hasn't come in. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's not coming in. And at the end, basically what ended up happening was it wasn't coming. Because at the time that a lot of people, at the time that I was in, there was 90% of our military had zero combat experience. And a lot of people were on leave, right? And the government just didn't want that. And so they're denying everybody for leave of absences and so on like that they just wanted people in, right? Mm-hmm. Little did we know, several months later, 9/11 happened, and you know we rushed over to get combat experience, if you catch my drift, right?
Yeah.
Just to flood everybody over that we could, just to get them experience, because our military was in a bad state. People were retiring and new people coming in. We had, you know, generals and shit that have never seen combat. You know, that's not a good place for a country to be in, unfortunately, in the theater of war, right? But so I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, I've got these shows, I've got obligations that I've already I've already agreed to doing shows and stuff, right? And I always had the firm believer, if you make me choose, you're gonna lose, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna leave. And they're like, seriously? They're like, you're leaving? And I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm sorry. You know, I can always come back, can I not? And they're like, yeah, of course, whatever, like that. And I'm like, okay, like that. And I felt like shit, you know, and I filled out my paperwork and I left, right? I've regretted it to some degree. It was a calling of me and so on. But I look at it, I was not meant. What I had needed to be there, I had learned. I had accomplished. You know, I've met people, I've changed people's lives and so on like that, whatever like that. And it was time for me to move on to something better, something different, you know. And it's if I would have stayed, who knows where I would have been? I would have gone all the way. You know, I was like, you know, I'm the guy that would run in the front line, right? Because I have a job to do. You know, you train, like the thing is, it's like what's weird about it is like you train for so much. It's like playing football, right? You train to play football and then you just sit on the bench. Mm-hmm. You know, no, you want to get in the game. You know what I mean? This is what you're there for and so on like that. As stupid as that sounds, like I'm a grown man today. I was a young kid then. You know, I was in my early 20s and so on. I've learned a lot over the last, God, it's almost been 20 years, right? It's foolish, foolhardy, but that's who I am. You know, I'm not. If I'm meant to die doing it, then I'm gonna fucking die doing it. I could cross the street, get shot, whatever like that. Go to a standoff, do this, whatever like that, and get shot, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's just the way life is. You know, you don't get to choose how you die, but you get to choose how you live.
Oh, that's,
you know,
awesome.
And that's the I live by that. You know, I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna do what I have to do for my family in good ways, with trying not to hurt anybody else. And I mean, not violently or whatever like that, but just being a good person, not being a dick stepping on people, getting promotions at work because I screw somebody over and so on like that.
Yeah.
That's not me. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm never going to do that. You know?
On that note, we are going to take a short break. I am just enthralled. I am learning so much about you, and I look forward to learning more. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with James Paquette, my co-host today. So I am back. Devlin here with my co-host, James Paquette. And how are you enjoying yourself so far?
I'm doing great. I didn't realize I came so quickly, though, but holy man, that was so good.
Sorry. Speaking of which, I wanted to say, James brought me a little gift here. He brought me a packet of cock soup.
Cock soup?
We're going to get that in the photos.
Spicy cock.
Yeah, we're going to get your cock in your photo with me because you will be the first person to whip your cock soup out. Right. Yeah, it's lovely. I actually wanted to try this.
I have no idea what this will taste like. I'm assuming there's noodles in it. It's like a chicken soup. Yeah, but, with the name cock soup,
it literally is cock.
And there's a picture of a rooster on it. It's kind of surprising, actually. So I'm like, that's a horrible name for a soup, or a genius name, because you've got different brands of chicken soup. No name.
I wonder if there's
soup.
been any gay men who buy that
there's
just for the.
There's a cock soup, and what are you going to do? You're going to buy a fucking cock soup.
Yeah, I bought it. I'm hoping it's creamy. I'm hoping it's a little creamy. I got this image of somebody like just having like the powdered chicken noodle soup, and then they just put their cock in it for 20 minutes.
Maybe the noodles are little penises. Who knows, right? Like, that's the way it needs to be.
So thank you for that lovely gift.
No problem.
I will try it and tell you if it tastes like anything familiar. I debated whether or not to bring it
because I'm like, oh fuck, is he going to be offended by it? And I'm like, oh fuck, he's not going to be offended by it. He's not.
When people
people
come to my apartment, I usually make the joke, okay, well, I'll hide all the big penis sculptures and stuff. And I always tell my partner Micah, we need to get some of that stuff, like, because we go to other gay people's houses. Not that we know many gay people because they kind of don't like us. Because we don't do it right, but they always have that one mandatory picture of like a same-sex couple hugging or embracing, and it's almost like where's Waldo? Like where's that artifact?
It's kind of, that's interesting. Like sorry what I'm about to say to offend everybody in the world, whatever, but it's like billboarding.
Billboarding?
Billboarding, right? So it's got to be hard to be gay. Because if I'm gay, I look like every other dude in the planet, okay? How do I meet somebody? You know what I mean? How can I let this other person, hey, I'm gay, but I'm normal? So you got to kind of do the mannerisms and do other things and so on like that to kind of give the hints that you're not like the other guys, the other boys, if you will. You know what I mean? And it's that's got to be really, really shitty. You know what I mean? Like being straight. I see a pretty girl, I'm like, hey, I like that girl. She's hot. Yeah. Whatever. And you can talk to her and you can just start. And she knows, right, I'm talking to you. You know right off the bat I'm fucking hitting on you. Yeah. Okay? But a guy just talking, you don't know, like, is this guy hitting on me? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
sometimes
unless they're like, hey, I'll bring some cock soup over or whatever like that. Then it's like.
I assume, I get let down a lot because I assume everybody's hitting on me. And then it takes me a long time to figure out, they're just being nice.
No.
So I'm a horrible mention of this.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked a lot about cock, but you are married.
I am married, yes.
Yes.
To a female.
I was getting around to that. I was getting around to that. We're allowed to dream.
How did Jerry Seinfeld? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Mindy is your name, right?
Mindy, yes.
That's cool. How long have you been married for?
10 years.
Okay, nice.
We just had our 10th. We've been together for 13. I've known her for 17 plus-ish. So she's my best friend, my soulmate. I absolutely adore her.
Nice.
It's if I would have known that she would have been as amazing as she is, and to be honest, I was afraid getting together and stuff like that. Like she did have 2 kids previously and so on like that. I was there when the kids were born and young and stuff like that. Right? She was my friend. But when we had gotten together, her long-term relationship had ended. We had gotten together, and I didn't know I could be the man that she needed me to be, but I was crazy about her. Took a shot on it, and it was a scary, rough ride, man. Like, it's I was not ready at all for instant family and so on like that. And not that we had an instant family. Like obviously there is, there's other things that go on and so on.
But there was two other kids.
It was two kids, two boys. Yeah. Luckily, I knew them they knew me from growing up and so on like that, which made it hard. Like obviously, it's like, it wasn't an easy, awesome entrance into a relationship. A lot of people hated us that we were together and so on, right? But it was, but fuck them. Like,
no,
you know what I mean? And I didn't do anything dishonoring. I was a gentleman all the way. Phenomenal. So
awesome.
Best thing.
Did you have more
done.
kids after?
Yes, we have one boy.
Okay.
Tiberius. He's 7 years old now. The apple of my eye.
Do you see dark
King,
sides of him?
If you look at my Facebook page, I'm King James, whatever on there. So I had to name my son a ruler of the Roman Emperor of Tiberius and so on, right? But actually, his name it's more of a joke. His name he's named after James T. Kirk.
James T. Kirk, yeah.
So his middle name is James. He was going to be named James Tiberius Kirk Paquette. I asked because we're huge Star Trek fans and so on. But I told my wife.
I would think it was weird if you weren't and you still named it.
I told my wife it's like no, let's name him Jean-Luc Paquette, but she wouldn't go.
That would be great.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But no. Like she wouldn't go with it, and I'm like, I don't want him to have the same name as me.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna yell at him and get him, and he's gonna be in trouble, and all I'm hearing is you're yelling my name, and I don't want that, right? So I'm like, let's switch him and Tiberius James, right?
That's cool. So he still has your name.
He still has my name.
Yeah, I might have my dad's.
My wife's name is in there as well. His name is Tiberius James Lee Paquette.
Okay.
And the Lee is my wife's name is hyphenated, so Mindy Lee, but it's also her grandmother's name.
Okay.
And so on, and so it's a lot of family tradition in there.
Oh, very nice.
James runs deep in her family. There's some James of uncles and brothers and so on like that. So it's a very powerful name. He had to have 4 names like I do. It's a powerful, strong, individual.
Very cool. And are you seeing little signs of him?
He is my son all the way.
So you can see it
he's
already.
highly intelligent, scores off the charts of memory and things like that, whatever. Sucks at phonics. So it's the same as I did and so on. But when he gets that, though, the sky's going to be the limit for him.
Excellent.
So
this must be exciting to see him grow up in a different... I say a different world because
it is a different
world.
It is like I'm sitting in the room with you right now. There's flat screen TVs and stuff. When we grew up in the 80s and so on, this was Star Trek. All this iPods and tablets and
I know. I'd be putting a cassette tape in, going click with the two things. And welcome to my show.
It's absolutely amazing, right? The world that they're living in, and they're growing up in, but it's a scary world because it's disconnected.
Yeah.
And they're losing. Like you're like my sons are texting and so on like that, and they're talking to girls and like, oh, we were texting for 5 hours. And it's like, oh yeah, how much conversation? Like 10 minutes worth of conversation, because you're waiting for the response.
I know.
And it's you can say anything and look Googling up what you want to say next and so on, like so you don't sound like a fucking idiot.
Not to mention you're reading it, which
exactly,
you don't know the
you
exact emotion.
Exactly. So now we have these little pictures of like I'm joking here, laugh out loud, smiley face with the tongue sticking out, Like, holy fuck, man! That's like hieroglyphics again.
I know. It's
like, you gotta be kidding me.
It is. I totally get it, because it's just like, it drives me crazy. Yeah. Like, as much as I love technology, I always, there's a lot that I don't love about it. And like, because like, there's difference between getting a little note, like an email, which I love getting, like from people. But I couldn't have, like, I don't have a cell phone, so I don't text. I have a nephew that's always like, you should get a cell phone so we can text. I go, why? Just send me a note on an email or call me. I'd rather hear your voice.
Exactly.
Because he's surprised. Like, he's always telling me, how come you can always figure out I'm going to fuck up before I do? And I go, well, one, I hear things in your voice. Because when you send me a little thing saying, I'm okay, I don't know if you're okay. But in your voice, when you say, I'm okay, I can always tell, okay, fine, there's a cracking in your voice. I'm not stupid. And I said, and not to mention, I can read, like...
Exactly.
See, I think he's just coming to terms with there is something good to have about having a gay uncle, because I can see things from the man's perspective and the female's. So when he's having troubles in a relationship, I can see both sides,
it's definitely a duality, isn't it? You know, it's
And some men have that too, like you can see. But there are a lot of men that play dumb and say, "No, I don't know what women are thinking."
The thing is, of course, because it's a get out of jail. Like, I'm just a stupid man.
Yeah, I know.
Give me my beer and watch hockey. It's like, fuck off. Like, I don't even watch sports, right? Because it's like.
I was about to say, I had a feeling you didn't watch sports because there's a big game right now going on, and I'm like,
fuck baseball. Like, boring. You know?
And I'm thinking, we're recording this on a very big game.
A bunch of millionaires playing with their bats and balls, I'll go watch porn or something. You know? Like, it's like, to be honest, right?
Well, porn's good. You can turn it off.
Well,
at least then, right?
At least then, it's like you're, enjoying something. You know, there's going to be a happy ending at some degree, right? But no, sports is. I'm not into that at all. Like fighting, I like that because I can get behind like some fighters, and you get to know their personalities a little bit and their personas and their fighting styles and so on like that. I've done martial arts, and I started after the army and so on like that, just to continue on with my training, right? Just to keep a part of what that was, right? It's boring. If you're watching millionaires play a fucking sport, you know what I mean? And it's like, are you realizing what you're doing? You know, like, holy fuck, you know? And you're sitting at home after you just worked your ass off. You know, I'm coming home from Target. And I'm like, fucking, with a 10-cent fucking raise, I'm going to watch somebody and then make them more money. You know, like, fuck off.
But I could say that about watching movies, too. Like,
movies is I agree, okay? But movies is, at least with a movie, it's, you as the watcher can go on this fantasy joyride instead of being like, oh, that was a really good play. Oh, fuck, that was almost a home run. You know what I mean? Like, it's boring.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm not a big sports fan.
It's an excuse to drink, which I don't do, personally.
Yeah, no, I'm not a drinker.
I'm not a drinker. I've never touched drugs. I'm not against the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, personally, but it's I have drinking, obviously. Like, I'll have a cooler here and there, whatever like that. Yeah. It's like, some of them are tasty. It's
same.
Like, I drink the girly drinks. Beer tastes like shit. I don't care, like, what.
Oh, you know, I could not do beer. Yeah. I've done beer when I was younger, and
it's gross.
I'm just, it doesn't taste good. I do not like it, and I'm fucking, I have one beer, and I'm in the bathroom like 7 times, and I'm like, this is not enjoyable.
I agree. It goes through me, you know, and
like,
it's like...
is there anything worse than, like, I remember, having a pitcher of beer and drinking 1 or 2 glasses, and then I can't believe how quickly I have to take a piss. Then I go, and it feels like the greatest drain you ever had. You come back to the table, you sit down, and you fucking have to go again. Like, it's like...
For me, it's the other end. It goes through me, and I'm like fucking shitting like crazy. You know,
I've never heard that problem before.
Power dumping.
After
fire hosing up my ass, like, you know. So it's like, great, like, I'm enjoying this. Oh, good time, people. You know, awesome.
As much as I'd love to hear about your power dumping,
it's horrible.
I've never heard that people having problems about that.
No, it's like it disagrees with me big time.
Yeah, it's
vodka, things like that. No, I'm fine with that. But beer, though, it's gross.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. It makes me feel not drunk. Like, I've never been drunk, right? But it just makes me feel gross. Like, I feel like, oh man, I'm feeling sick.
It's funny because when people ask me, oh, do you drink? And I go, well, not really. And I haven't probably drank for like years.
Yeah.
Basically, my dad was an alcoholic, and he kind of. My parents always taught me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And the day I realized that they were both alcoholics, it was just, it kind of said, even if I drink, I'm not going to drink that much.
Yeah.
Some friends say they've seen me drunk, but I don't think it's ever happened. But they're actually shocked when they're like, you don't have a beer now and again? I go, honestly, the beer would be the last thing I'd drink. And I'd say, to be honest, if I had a choice, I don't mind a whiskey now and again. And they're like, you don't drink, but you like whiskey? And I go, my dad was a whiskey drinker, and I didn't mind the taste of that.
I agree.
Mixed with lots of Coke and
I'll
stuff.
drink it straight. I mean, like, personally, like Jack Daniels, whatever like that. It's like, just whatever, right? Coolers are fine because they're sweet, tasty.
Yeah, coolers
are
like
whatever.
Kool-Aid and stuff.
Exactly, right? But
I've become a lightweight because I don't drink.
Yeah.
I can have, like, I have a little champagne to celebrate something, and I'm like, woohoo! And that just tastes like...
Wine's gross as well. Like, red wine's okay, I can
I get it, but I don't enjoy it.
I'd like to maybe go into a wine tasting thing and learn about all the glasses and the smells and things like that would be interesting.
Yeah.
There's kind of a science.
You get to spit it out after.
Exactly. There's a science, right? But
it'd be awesome. You and I go to like a wine taste.
Oh,
Fuck!
Oh, fuck! Yeah, exactly.
Tastes like fucking.
Oh shit! Somebody fucking pissed on this thing. But beer is like gym sock water, personally. I mean, like, may have filter my coffee.
This is the beer hating segment of our show.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's I get ridiculed for that.
I'm shocked at how beer is so popular.
Especially in the army. Like, people are like, you're drinking, whatever, like that. And I'm not fucking drinking.
Yeah.
So they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Like, this is how they deal with life and shit. And I'm not anything like them.
When I went through my depressed patch, I realized that I sometimes look at the world and see how are the fucking people not seeing the shit I see?
They're not.
And then I think of the amount of pot they smoke and alcohol they drink.
They're not.
And I said, you should try this fucking life sober. Because you
don't know punishment.
Right. And I can't imagine being somebody who was an alcoholic who gave it up. Because I just choose not to drink, and so I'm like, that's how they get through life.
Yeah.
I always joke when I hit 50, I'm going to start doing crack. I've never even smoked pot, but I'm going to just hit the hard drugs because it's all the shitty years coming up, right?
Yeah.
So might as well lose those.
For me, it's like I went through depression as well. It hits me every so often, right? Not like it used to.
Yeah.
But dark times. When you like after I take my martial arts belts and so on, right? And the apartment that I'd have, we had a window above the bathroom door, and I don't know what they're called per se, but there's like the little windows, like old school, like 1920 kind of style houses and stuff, right? I'd throw my belt over there and tie it around my neck and like try to pick myself up to test my strength. Can I hang myself by holding myself up and so on, right? Figuring out if I ever went to prison, how could I hang myself? They take your shoelaces and all this stuff. I just rip up my t-shirt, tie it on a doorknob and lean forward, whatever, like that, like just to kill myself, whatever, right? I went through some it's funny to me today, because it's like, holy, my roommate was going through the same type of stuff, and we joke about it today and stuff, right? When he'd be depressed, I wasn't. When I was depressed, he wasn't, so we kind of just always fed off each other and got through it, He's like my best friend, my brother in arms, like it's we're still tighter than his family. I have a handful of people that I consider family. We're not blood, but we are, in some way, right?
It's mine. I totally get it.
But just this deep, this black dog that follows you around, for lack of better terms, right? And it's what got me out of it was through meditation and so on, and it was just, I just had to go through it. It's something I had to feel. I had to understand it. It was something that was, you don't really talk about it. You're just brutal, and it's such a dark time. You don't understand. Oh, get up. You're like, if you've never been through it, you will never understand it.
No.
That you don't give a shit whether you live or die. You don't want to die per se. Like, I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
I guess I'm greedy on the sense, because I'm like, if I kill myself tomorrow, I win the lottery. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I can't do that. I'm gonna suffer through this world. If my purpose is to suffer, then I'm gonna suffer, and I will never know happiness unless I suffer. And I can't do it to the people that have passed, that have touched my life and so on like that.
Yeah.
I might be the only memory that they lived is in my head. You know what I mean? And it's like, as long as I'm alive, they still exist.
Yeah.
And my cousin, when he died, things like that, I feel that way. And it's like, you have to go on, no matter what it is. It's for a purpose. I always find that no matter what, it's only just temporary.
Yeah.
And it's like, I joke with my wife and so on, like, I had the emotional maturity level of a teenager, and it's like I couldn't deal with anything for a lot of stuff, whatever, and I'm intelligent, so I don't have to deal with a lot of stuff. I didn't have to deal with the things, so I just wouldn't do the shit that everybody else was doing to get into those emotional states, right? But when you get married, now it's a different story. Now I kind of have to deal with a lot of stuff that I never dealt with when I was growing up and so on, right? And I just realized, wow, I don't have the coping skills. I'm so intelligent in every other way, but I don't have the skills to deal with a lot of this stuff. And talking to my mom through different things and so on like that, she'd be like, well, you know the answers, like through psychology and stuff that we've talked about before and stuff, right? Like, I know, but I feel it so deeply. And it's like, feelings aren't real. Okay, they're just a chemical state within the body and so on like that. Like, but they can feel like the most real thing ever.
Yeah.
And when I was in the army and taking martial arts and so on like that, I discovered that emotional pain is like far worse than physical pain. And I find sometimes if I get like really, really, really bad emotionally, I just fucking punch myself right in the head. Like just bang, 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 just brutally, right? Snaps me out of it. All of a sudden it's like my emotions are gone. The training kicks in and I'm just a functioning human being and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm under attack and I can focus again. And then I slowly deal with the emotional states and so on like that. It's called cutting, basically. Like cutters do it and stuff. They cut themselves to feel whatever. It's something that I'm not proud of. I don't do it anymore. I promise that I won't. Whatever like that. I don't need to anymore per se. Even though sometimes I want to. Like that feeling of when you fight in martial arts and you do things and so on. There's nothing when you're testing your skills and somebody just rocks you and you're like, you see stars for the second and you're just like, and you fucking push on and so on like that. It's like, it's so raw. It's so in the moment. There's nothing else than that moment, and it's very, very peaceful almost. It's weird to say, like, whatever, right? But I'm not proud of it. I've done that. I don't need to anymore per se. It's like I'm a fucked up person, I guess, from it. I'm glad that I went through it because I understand people more. Yeah. It's like you can't like, oh, my life is fucking perfect, and you're going through work, and you don't feel anything. Well, that's not real, and it's like you can't see the world. You can't have a fucking brain in your head and see what's going on around you and realize people are just shit. They lie. They're all scared. They're babies in so many ways, and it's like I see people probably pretty brutally at times, right? For the most part, I think, what will my wife do? Because she's a kind-hearted individual, like bad stuff and so on like that, whatever has happened in her life. She's a woman, obviously, like, bad shit's gone down, right? But I think every day, it's like if a situation comes up, what would my wife, how would she react to this? And I think about that and I learn from it. And through her, I've learned on how to be a human. I mean, like a good, decent person, if you will, whatever, right? And she balances me out. Like you talked about of being a gay male and you have the female and the male brain and so on like that, whatever, right? It's male have very, very angular energies. We're straight lines, boom, boom, we go, whatever like that. Females have this curve energy and so on like that to them as well, right? Sacred geometry, look it up. There's a lot of interesting teachings with that and so on. Interesting enough, it's you can find a balance. I try to be that sensitive hard ass, if you will. Men are like, we don't talk about our feelings. We just deal with whatever, and it's not cool to do this, or you're gay if you are, or whatever. I mean, like all this this shit that we grow up with. That like I grew up, I didn't have my my biological father fucked off, whatever like that, right? When I was like 2. But I never grew up with a male in the house, so I never grew up with that bullshit. But it's still a part of me. Like my son, he's growing up and he wanted to get a baby doll, but he didn't want to tell me. It's like, I don't want dad to know that I want a little baby, and he's got this little baby that, and my mom told me, hey, he's got this doll, whatever like that, right? And I'm like, okay, like, that's cool, whatever, right? Yeah. And I'd rather him playing with Barbies and G.I. Joes or whatever. I mean, it seems more natural for him to be playing with, like, beautiful women and stuff like that than whatever. Like, there's a, this whatever, you play with, like, your kid's not always like this you play with war machines, like, even though, like, he's got his toy guns and so on like that, but that's a whole, I'll get into that.
Yeah, I played with both.
And it's like, so did I.
I had the G.I. Joe dolls, I had Barbie.
I wanted to play with the girls, right? Yeah. Like, that's where it's at.
They had more fucking clothes, exactly, too, for Barbie.
You know what? That's like, it's I'm definitely, I have that female side of me as well. I'm not gay. I'm not in that area at all. Whatever. But I explore my feminine side and so on. I love fashion. Absolutely adore it.
Especially lingerie, apparently.
Lingerie, clothing, stuff like that. Like my wife jokes, I dress her a lot. You know, like show her like this is this. And I learned a lot of fashion growing up as being a runway model. Yeah. Like it was a part of me, right? Fashion TV, things like that. Like always looking into it. People, they don't understand what fashion is. It's an art show. That's why all the costumes and the outfits are just outrageous. It's a walking billboard, right? It's a walking canvas, right? Models are super thin because they have to fit the clothes. The clothes don't fit you, you know. And it's like that's the difference, right? Couture and all this other stuff, right? But I love it, you know. So like I a lot of people, I guess, when they find out, like, oh wow, like I can take somebody down, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I can make you look fabulous. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I can take you down, but you know,
and it's like
you'll look good doing it.
Put you in a hole, whatever, like that, right? But it's at the same time, it's like, why can't I be both? You know what I mean? And it's like in the band and stuff like that, like eyeliner and nail polish and so on like that. Like I love it. I mean, like, it's just the way it is, right? I wear a toe ring and stuff like that. Like I mean, like dudes don't wear that stuff unless, you know, you're on the other side, I guess, right? But it's why can't I? I got my tongue pierced, stuff like that, right? I'm like, first thing is like, like I had a girlfriend and stuff that had it, right? I'm like, can dudes get that? It's awesome. I love metal through flesh and so on like that. It's like just the shininess of it and you know, just the way things are, right?
Getting turned on, just talking about it.
It's like.
I'm not a metal through flesh kind of person, but
no, it's
your passion about it. It's exciting.
It's sexy. It's raw. It's painful. You earn that piercing. It hurts getting it. You know, you earn that tattoo. You know, like there's only one way to get it, and that's through pain. You know, and it's
just like what you said about life.
Just life as well.
You have to go through those painful days. We just kind of
exactly right. Pain.
I love when we get deep without planning.
Enjoy the pain, because pleasure is to follow. You know, an orgasm is actually painful, and we release all these endorphins and so on like that throughout the body to feel good about it and so on like that. It's pain through pleasure, painful pleasure. You know,
Oof.
It's the way that it is. You know, it's very cynical. It's very twisted, but
it's great.
It's the way that it is, you know.
And on that note, I'm going to have to take a break and fan myself a little bit. We'll be back with James Paquette. And we are back. I'm here with my co-host, James Paquette. Are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Yeah. I've always said that we get into conversations between, and if we had them rolling, it would just be fucking great entertainment. You got to come back for another one.
I will.
Now, you're an artistic person. Are you working on anything currently that you want to talk about, or even if it's just stuff?
I have a lot of projects on the go. I'm always doing music to some degree. I write a lot.
Okay.
It's
now you said you were in a band. Is this something you had CDs or
we do have some songs out and so on like that.
So where would people go to find it? Like, what was the name of the group?
The group is called Black Becca.
Okay.
And my little side project that I do on my own, I can just whatever, is called Valley of Pigs. Okay.
That's the name of the
Valley of Pigs.
And that's just you?
It's just basically me, whatever like that. And it's like anything goes. I'll fucking sing about, you know, whatever, right? Like, so write about whatever.
And is this available, or is this just
we had Black Deck on YouTube for a while. We're gonna put it back up.
Okay.
We took it down. We went on hiatus for a bit and whatever like that.
All right.
We're currently right now looking at just throwing our songs on for indie on Y108 and stuff to see if they're interested and so on, right? So it's you will find that shortly, and I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll make sure that happens, right?
Yeah. We'll use
like
that as an excuse to get you back.
Exactly. I love it. I'm biased about it though. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But
that's good. You have to be your own fan.
What I see and hear from people talking about stuff, people that I don't know, they're like, oh my god, you know, this is amazing, whatever. Right? It's different. You won't find anything like it. It's
Do you still work with the band? Or?
I do. It's just one guy and myself that we do all the writing and so on like that.
Nice.
He's extremely talented when it comes to the guitar and so on like that. And myself, like I play guitar but I follow him on that, and I sing and I do my writing and so on, right? Usually it comes from a dark place to some degree, and I try to tone it down a little bit afterwards because some of it is just not radio friendly, if you will.
Oh.
But that's where more of that unradio friendly stuff usually goes to like Valley of Pigs aspect, right? So
so the darker stuff is Valley of Pigs.
Don't get me wrong, like Black Deck is very dark, very, very cold type of music. It sings about brutal anger and emotions and so on like that of things and so on. It's very dark as itself, right? But if I'm singing about, like just being more of a ridiculous aspect of being dark and so on, that it's just not commercially, it's like this song's weird. It's probably a Valley of Pigs song.
Oh, okay.
It's just being creative. It's being expressive of things and stuff like that.
I'd love to hear some of it sometime.
It's a bit liberating to do some of that. Because
I can't even. I'm trying to picture you like. I'm not saying I can't picture you rocking out because I've seen you in so many ways. I can't I did not know you were in the military. I did not know you were.
I keep a lot of that stuff like
the modeling. That was
people that know me know it, but you don't see a lot of that stuff on Facebook.
Well, now 17 people are going to know it too if they all tune in this week.
The picture of me on Facebook with wearing a crown, that was a band photo.
Oh, was it?
And so there was 2 other members. Now there's just 1 other member, whatever like that. But they're cropped out of that one just because I thought it was good. I did some Photoshop on it and so on. I was in the game industry for a while. Like I went to school. That's when I went to college and stuff like that. I went to college for video games.
Okay. Do you still create them, or?
Not as much as I'd like to. It's very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of sharing that with my kids and so on like that. It's like work kind of between family and work. Here's my excuses, right? But
what other projects? You said you were doing some other.
Right now, I'm working on my truck a lot. I've got some interesting things I'm creating for that and so on. So putting on a bonnet scoop and all kinds of other stuff, getting it ready. I've never really done it before, but it's just a little bit more mechanical aspect of getting that up and running. And I invent, I do little things and stuff like that. I'm always being creative in some way and shape and form. It's a part of me. It's like I need to fucking create, and if I'm not, either where it comes to painting to drawing to inventing stuff to 3D modeling on the computer and so on. It's always. I'm a programmer as well. Like I can program and stuff, right?
Wow.
But it's
You're just impressing the fuck out of me today.
I left the game industry because it kind of burns you out. Like when I went in after school, there was a huge layoff that happened in the game industry, and like 700 some odd people were let go and stuff. So all those people with crazy experience all went back in, scooped up all the small jobs and so on. I worked from home for a bit, worked for a couple of companies and so on, and then it just kind of sucks. I just wasn't happy doing it, right? Like I'm working for crazy hours for next to no money. Some of the money's good if you can get it done and shit, but people are just like they have their visions of dreams and shit, and then they just keep making you change it. Even though I did it once and I set it up modular wise so I can do it, but then I've got to go back now and change all the shit again.
Yeah.
And it's all contractual work for a lot of it, and it just kind of sucked, and I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here, and I just need to do a normal job. And I went to Target, and it was good. I'm glad I did. I learned a lot going to Target.
Really?
It's I've never worked for a big box store before, and seeing that and stuff. I look at the business aspect. I'm always looking more than, hey, I'm just doing this. I'm looking at how is this operating? What's going on here? And seeing how it failed and other stuff too. It's like it's very interesting to me. And currently I work in the automotive industry. I'm a printer. So I actually print car parts and so on like that.
Oh,
so
really?
Like parts you'd see on your dash and things like that. And some badges and stuff, whatever, right? So,
just picture the little statue of like Mary that people have up, on the Latino cars. Am I being racist like, saying that?
No, it's more of like the, where you push the push buttons.
Yeah, I assume it was parts, but that's where I go.
Right? Now the company used to do stuff where it's like like stickers and stuff for marine and all kinds of stuff, but we're moving more towards the automotive industry. It's more consistent. better, longer runs, things like that, more money, more boring.
Is there any hint to the fact that fuzzy dice might be coming back on your mirror? It's my dream that makes a comeback.
Funny enough, actually, I've been looking and I haven't found anything yet on it. But my buddy wanted a set of fuzzy dice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make you a set, but I'm just gonna make them like sex dice. I mean, instead of just the normal fuzzy dice, these weird sex positions on so on like that. I haven't found them anywhere.
Yeah.
Like for the car, because most people probably wouldn't put that in their car, but I'm definitely the type.
You'd be surprised if they put testicles on the back of their
bumper. Yeah.
You should release that. You know,
and
get that patent, because somebody's going to be listening and say sex dice.
Sex dice. You know.
Then you don't even have to come up with a clever name.
Exactly. It's exactly positions.
Yeah.
You know, cock or walk. You know, like, can you just roll the dice and be like, "This is what you're doing."
Stuff you can do in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I used to hear stories about that in high school, where that you fucking suck me, or I'm gonna leave you abandoned here. This was not me.
Fucked up, right?
That's totally fucked up. That's like, blackmail sex.
I can't even imagine like what kind of a person you are to say that you're gonna fucking suck me, or I'm leaving you here, and you're in the middle of nowhere. It's like, fuck you.
I would have been so turned on if it was me.
It's like,
if it was me, I would have been just like, I'm so honored.
Oh, like it never happened. It never happens to the guy, right? The chick is like, like, hey, you're gonna eat my pussy, or I'm leaving you here, and it's like, oh, fucking all right. No, and then we wake up and we're fucking wet. You know what I mean? That's usually how that happens, right? But
I'm sure there's people wet hearing that, listening to this right now.
That never happens, for the other turn,
but it should, because we're supposed to be coming into more of a gender fluid.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Any woman
can walk into a bar and be like, "Who here wants to fuck me?" And half the bar will stand up and come towards her, right? I do that in the bar, like, "Hey, who wants to fuck me?" Everybody start to laugh. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. And it's like,
you're a model.
Okay? All right then. Hey, thanks.
You're a model.
I'd be surprised actually, like if somebody stood up, like, hey, it might be a dude in the back, and I'm like, sorry, buddy, wrong bar.
It might be me. Yeah, didn't I know you from Target?
Hey, sit down, ladies. Yeah, no.
Yes, you got to watch what you do nowadays. No, I wouldn't be. I'd be shy as hell. I would never stand up if.
I've thought about just to see, like, just out of curiosity, just random bar, walk in and be like, just whatever.
This is so politically incorrect. That's why I totally want to.
Just to see what would happen. Right?
I bet you. Now I know you're married, but if you were single, I would say you should go to a bar and fucking just treat women like shit. I bet you.
Yeah.
You would fuck, because you have a good bills on you.
I hit the gym.
Like,
I'm trying to get back into shape.
I think you look great. I like it. The dad bod's in now, but
it is.
I like
it is.
And you are a dad. That's even hotter.
Exactly.
I could tell you a weird story about that.
Too, when I'm told, right?
There you go.
But
you stayed longer than your dad did, so that's a good fucking thing right there.
Fuck yeah, 2 years old, he was gone, right? Good riddance. And he was like,
yeah, no, he probably wouldn't have been.
I don't know the guy, so I can't really talk shit about him.
No.
But from what the stories of my mom and my aunts and stuff like that have said and stuff like that, I wouldn't want him around anyways. I think he would have changed me as a person. Right?
Even if he came back, the fact that he even that was his idea, you could kind of tell probably the kind of person he was.
It's sad. When my son turned 2, I remember looking at him and thinking, like, holy fuck, this is when the last time I saw my father.
Yeah.
He left at this time, and it's like,
do you know where he is?
I do know where he is,
yeah.
Yeah, he's up in the Sioux.
Have you ever,
my grandfather died. I sent flowers and so on like that, just to let them know that, hey, I'm still alive. I was mentioned in the obituary and stuff like that, so I know that they haven't completely, like, what son?
But he's never reached out to you?
He knows better than to reach out to
that you won't be.
It's like, after all this time, what the fuck, Like, if he ever did, he'd have to, like, I'd listen to him.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, I'm respectful.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, him and my mom didn't get like, obviously they didn't see eye to eye or what have you like that. Like, there's always stories of maybe he didn't want to see me because he was passionately in love with my mom and, like, would remind him or whatever like that of what he lost or what have you like that, or he's just a fucking prick.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? That's his loss, right?
But it is. It really is.
You know? And I think I turned out to be a really good person, a really good male. You know, something to be proud of, and so on. And I didn't do it for him. I didn't do it for anybody but myself, right? And it would have been nice to have a leg up, you know. And it's like, you know, like somebody there to be like, oh, like let me show you how to be successful.
But as we were talking about how one person can change your life in a good way, you might be a totally different person if he stayed in your life. You could be that asshole that like him, right? Comes into a bar and says, "Who wants to fuck me?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so you never know about that. So maybe he did you. Maybe he was such a bad father that maybe that was his best gift he gave to you.
People can be parents. You know, they can be a father, but it takes a special man to be a dad.
Yeah, no,
you know,
I
and it's
agree
like if he just wasn't, you know, he had his opportunity and he chose not to. There's court orders and stuff, you know, visitations and stuff like that supervised. He didn't go to them, so he chose.
Yeah, he
made a fucking choice of not pursuing a relationship with his only son.
Yeah,
you know, and it's I feel sorry for him.
I was about to say,
you know, and it's like
you're seeing your son grow up. Could you even imagine not being in his life?
I could, if there was exigent circumstances, you know, like it was just better for me not to be around.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like because I'm bad news or whatever like that, like something whatever, right? But I would to protect him, you know, from myself, from whatever like that. And it's possible that if he was a bad guy, maybe he felt like he didn't want to be around as well. I don't know. Like that's up to him.
See, this is interesting to me because my father was always he was in the military. He traveled around early on, but I was still fairly young when he finally decided to stop. Like he'd be gone for months.
Yeah.
So my mother raised us. So my brothers saw that impact of us, like, you know, we'd be in Kingston, we'd be in Germany, but when he finally settled. But what interests me is, like, just talking about, he made that choice to go. Now, you almost wonder, was he just a prick? Or if he really thought, I'm gonna fuck it. Like, I'm not trying to give your dad credits, but
I don't know. That's the question, right?
Is there a possibility that he could have said, I fucking might be worse being around this kid and saying, I think this kid will do better without me out there?
Yeah.
Because I have a friend, I won't name him because it's his business, but his father left early and has tried to come back a couple times, and he's basically said, no, you fucking didn't want me then, I don't want you now. And every time Father's Day rolled around, he'd just be like, I fucking hate Father's Day. I don't fucking celebrate it. We've become so close that, and younger guy, and he, this year, instead of fuck Father's Day, because he even be like, on his status, fuck Father's Day, you know, I have nothing to celebrate. And then this year, he sent me a thing that said, by the way, happy Father's Day. You've probably been more of a father figure to me than he ever will be. And I was touched by that because I don't think of myself as his father figure, but I know I've taught him a lot of stuff.
Like I have a stepdad that, you know, like obviously like my mom and himself, they've separated and so on, right? I still keep in contact. You know, we're not as close as like probably what he wants to be and so on. But there's, you know, like I have an open door. Whatever like that, right? It's fine, right? He gets the happy Father's Day aspect and so on like that because he has taught me a lot.
Yeah, you've learned from him.
And he deserves it to the day he dies, whatever, right? But
and he stepped up.
He did. He raised a child that wasn't that was his, you know, and that's like.
And you did that too.
Now I'm raising two boys that aren't mine as well, right?
And you said it. It takes
a special person
to be a dad. Anybody can
and that's why
have a child.
I had mentioned it earlier, whatever. It's with my wife and so on like that. I wasn't sure if I could be the person that she needed me to be. She has kids. I have to be that role model to some degree, right? And I hated myself in many ways, you know, dark clouds and so on like that in my life, right? But it's for me to step up and so on. Now I'm responsible. Now there's no excuses either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have to be, you know, like I'm the provider, I'm this, I'm that, and so on, right?
What I like about you, what I get from you, as I said, this is our first time really sitting down and chatting. What a fucking, I don't think people that you've known sometimes for 10, 20 years have a conversation that we've had tonight. and you haven't heard the stuff we talked about beforehand. But you seem like someone who takes things seriously. Like if something's weighing heavy in your mind, you're going to research it, look into it.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking about like a little bit of spirituality.
Yeah.
We've talked about like being gay, being straight, and you seem very well read on all of it. So it's obviously something gets in your head. You'll probably look up cock soup tonight when you get home.
Yeah, where's the origin of this? Like, why is it cock soup?
I'm going to go right to YouTube and see if they have people
cock
making
soup.
it, because I still think it's somebody sticking their cock in chicken soup.
Yeah, chicken soup.
But you seem like you are that way, so you obviously stepped up to the plate.
I want to... It's the human experience, you know, the human knowledge and so on like that. Like I'm here, like we mentioned earlier, there's like 14 billion years that you know, the universe, and 14 billion years is until it's cold again or whatever like that. Right? I'm only here for a short period of time. What am I going to do? Fucking watch hockey? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's a
you know what I mean? And it's like I'm going to like, you know, I'm going to explore everything that I possibly can. And yes, I have looked up hockey and the rules and so on like that, because I'm not just, you know, I don't know everything about it. I'm not going to pretend to.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I've got friends that love it. I listen to them talk about it, ask them questions and so on like that, and then I assimilate that knowledge, right? But I
like seeing their passion. Like I see, like even though it doesn't, you know, pump my nads, and there's a term I haven't used since the 80s. I love seeing that they get. I know, mad. I love seeing their passion for it, and then just because I don't get it, I'd rather watch like. When you said, you know, I get boxing and stuff, well, they're shirtless. I'm going to pay attention to that, of course.
You know, there's guys rolling around on the fucking floor, right?
I want to start.
You know what I mean, like
I want to start a kickboxing facility, and I've never kickboxed in my life. I just want to see people rolling around.
You'd probably like it, actually.
I'm wrong. Yeah, I know.
It's a great.
I think my dark side would start coming out again.
It's a great workout. You know, and you get a lot of frustration out. It's really good for the soul. You know, just to basically you're pissed off. Whatever.
When I watch it, it's good for my soul.
Just to release the energy, and knowing that you can protect yourself, you're learning how to move the body in other ways, and so I recommend.
You know, I was in Niagara Falls. I probably told this story before, but they had a big UFC fight coming up, and they were doing the whole, you know, weighing, and they'd take the shirt off, and they'd be like in their shorts, and all these straight guys were just like, yeah, he's looking ripped, and I go, this is the fucking gayest thing I've ever seen, and this is pretty much straight men.
Fucking pretty gay.
But if I was doing this, it'd be like, oh, what a fag, you know, like, and I'm thinking, this is the gayest thing. But they're okay
I've never understood that you watch sports and you see the guys like patting each other on the ass and shit like that. Okay, when is that fucking okay? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, like that's kind of fucking weird. You know, like it's a little bit messed up.
I would not do it unless it was somebody I really know.
You know, I mean, like, go for the girl.
I won't try to pat you.
I mean, and it's
yeah, I know.
Okay,
it's
like, what's the origin of that? You know, from what I'm told, you do that because there's less padding there and they can feel it. If you hit somebody on the shoulders, they don't really feel like, good job, whatever.
Yeah.
So you hit them on a sensitive area that they can see, like, you're letting them know, whatever.
Like,
it's kind of weird. You know, like, and they don't feel weird about it. I've been. Here's a funny story.
There's got to be some.
I'm at the gym.
Gayness, yeah.
I'm at the gym.
Okay. Somebody patted your ass?
No,
Great story already.
I'm at the gym. The gym's like a lot of gyms can be on the guys' aspect. The guys are very comfortable in the back. They're getting changed, whatever.
Yeah.
Some dudes, they're just like butt naked, standing there, sitting down on the bench. A dude has his leg up on the bench next to him, cock right in the guy's face, talking to him, whatever like that, right?
You should join the gym more.
That's You know what I mean, it's kind of like, okay, like that's a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's, you know,
I would be,
even if you're into that, it's like, okay,
I would be
save that for somewhere else other than the gym aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, like whatever, right? I walk to the showers, to the sauna, whatever. I got a towel wrapped around myself. You know, like obviously I'm naked under the towel and so on like that. The guys are like, what are they? A bunch of fucking fags wearing the towels and shit. I'm sorry, like, I just look at my buddy, whatever, and I'm like, we just got called fags because we're not naked with them.
Yeah.
And they want to see us naked.
That's totally the reason.
It's like, but we're gay somehow.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I'm sorry, it's inappropriate for me to put my junk in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, whether you're my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever like that, it's kind of rude in a public environment to be like that. Regardless,
I totally get it.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a really brutal experience. Now, the gym that I currently go to, there's none of that shit going on and whatever like that, right? But it was like the first kind of, you know, gym that I went to.
I went to an interview to sign up for a gym, and they gave me this buxom woman. And basically, I went on a tour with them.
Yeah.
And they literally took me to like I wasn't even signed up to this gym. And they literally took me into the men's locker room. And there's like blatantly naked men there. And I'm like, this seems weird. Like, you couldn't tell me this is the locker room.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we finished the little interview, she said, okay, I'll be right back. And then she left. And this fucking really hot guy comes to finish the assessment. And I'm like, okay, they've totally figured out that I'm gay. And now they know the hard sell will be better with a hot guy.
Hey, it's business.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, he's not really caring about the women doing the thing, but when we got the locker, I was either probably like a little shy, because I wasn't sitting there with, you know, my tongue hanging out.
God.
Probably that told more about me. It's like, he's totally gay, because if he was comfortable with this, you know.
Bring it.
And then they totally bring another guy. It's like when they brought Hot Jesus out for me to try to get me converted into this thing, when they realized, I think he might be gay, so get Jesus on him.
Swimmer body, you know?
Yeah, I literally went to a church and they brought this sexy Jesus out, and this girl talked to me to join the church, and then when she figured out, oh, I think he's gay, get Jesus, the guy played Jesus in the thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of here because hot Jesus might convert me, you know, and you know, because, you know, Jesus is usually always hot. Is it wrong to lust after Jesus?
It's that's a whole other.
we were saving that for the next time you're here.
The whole fact of if you look at the statues at the time and so on, there's this half naked dude hanging on a cross, and it's probably very sexually oriented to begin with, right? Because people didn't really see a lot of that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this dude is like, you know, being tortured. You know, and he's like ripped. And whatever like that, and it's like,
is he ripped or is he starving?
And face kids, is there a difference?
No,
you know,
it
like,
still looks good.
Know, but it's you know, like he was definitely a swimmer, you know, whatever like that, you know.
Yeah,
but you know,
when he was a fat guy on the cross, would anybody care?
It's like, oh, what the fuck, Jesus, you know.
Christianity would fold.
But
that's horrible.
Fat Jesus, you know, like
the elephant with 8 arms being tortured on the cross. You know?
It's
how many religions can I insult in this thing?
You know, it's we'll have to have another topic about religion one day and the origins of that and other things that are interesting.
Now, as we're wrapping up here, were you surprised how deep we got? Like, because I was saying we're going to be like dark and
you know what? It's like
I love when we take it to a spiritual level and
spiritual, the human existence.
Yeah,
like it's I'm not overly surprised. It's I usually bring this out in people. You know, they usually feel pretty comfortable and safe around myself. I'm not judging.
Yeah.
I'm like probably the least judgmental person. I want to understand before like anything. Like, you know, it's you know, people are talking about the deepest, darkest things and so on like that, and it's like, you know what? I have the same feelings and the same understandings and so on like that, right? Like, you're not different than I am.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Yeah. I normally don't. I know. I got an ego to say I'm a very perceptive person on people. Okay. I think you are too.
Yeah.
Do you see me as a deep person, or when we first met, did you see there was something?
Gene Pool run deep. No,
like,
it's like
because I know we talked about some goofy, funny. You know, we took cannibalism fetishes.
It's, like when I first met you and so on like that, right? It's like obviously like you're just laughing, you're having a good time, we're moving all this shit around and stuff at the store and what have you like that, right? It was like a really weird experience to put the store
It was.
I think you stayed to the end to pull the store down as well, I think, right?
I was the last person to
so you got to see the whole
check out the last person in line.
Like to see the whole thing, right? What an experience, whatever, right?
My whole
I'd come back every so often and just, you know, visit and so on, like whatever like that, because honestly, like, people were great. Target was awesome. You know, it's
there was so much.
It was such a great people. You know, like,
Target's end was the start of my depression.
Yeah,
because, and it's hard to explain why, and it's not important, but I lost a lot of people that I were in my life every day for 2 years, and I was afraid I was going to lose them.
Yeah.
And I have lost touch with a lot of them, but and I hate that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. I've held on to a couple really close ones, and a couple are people I see once in a while. Actually, hopefully, this is a friendship we hold on to.
There's Stefan, right? Like one of my best friends.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah.
But we hit it off. It's like we still hang out every so often and so on like that. Not as much as we want to and so on. Like, awesome. I consider him a brother actually. Like he'd be fit right in there with the other ones. Right?
Well, to be honest with you, I never thought you and I would sit down and chat again. I thought but we bump into each other quite often.
Exactly right.
And so I thought, and so I'm like, you know, I'm really glad we did this, and I hope we do it again.
It's always been really, really good times and so on like that, and you're definitely a deep person. And with your
that's what I was trying to get from you.
With your background and so on like that of improv and so on, you can't, because like I've done theater as well to some degree and a little bit of improv, not like yourself whatever, but just dabbled in it, I guess, right? You can't pull. You have to know things to be really good at improv. Okay, you can't just be a shallow, lifeless type of person that doesn't know anything. Because you're not going to be any good at what you're doing. Yeah. You have to be able to pull the darkness from here. You have to be able to pull the funny. You have to be able to pull
the light,
that, the light, and all this other
stuff.
Find
the humor
from everywhere.
Places you're
and then
not supposed
entertain
to.
While you're doing it, right? You know, there's actors and so on like that are just geniuses at things and so on, and they have this deep, painful life. And if you're just this happy, bubbly person like going off through life, whatever, you don't know shit. You know what I mean? And it's like either you're lying to yourself about being happy or what have you like that, or you're just completely retarded. You know, and I'm sorry for all the people out there that might be like, hey, I'm happy, whatever like that. I'm not calling you retarded. No. I'm saying like you're maybe you might want to look around a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And see what's going on, and maybe you can make a difference, you know, and so on, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's that there's more to yourself and then just what you're seeing in the mirror. You know, there's you have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose here, and the purpose is to learn, and the purpose is to share and to teach. And if we keep doing that, some of us teach through violence, some of us teach the bad ways of things, and some of us teach the good ways, and so on, right? It's all, no matter what, you're still a teacher. You're still doing what your job is, you know, but you have the choice whether or not how you want to live, you know.
I'm going to end this with one thing.
Right.
Have you ever thought of podcasting? Because I'm fucking listening to you saying, and I don't say this for everybody, because I have had a lot of people that I thought would do really great podcasting, but I thought, fuck, I'd listen to this guy just because, but at the same time, I don't want the competition. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm thinking,
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I just think you would have a lot of interesting things to say.
I'd have to like really have.
Would you talk about like, one topic or?
It basically be like what we're talking about now, right? It's good to bounce things off of people, without people just basically like a lot of the shit that I know, like deeply know and I can prove and so on like that. It'll probably offend the hell out of the world. You know, to be honest, right?
But I think the world needs to be offended now.
And I think, like, opens their eyes to people are so politically correct. They're like, oh.
It's going to be our downfall.
I get in so many arguments on Facebook. Every so often I'm like, I'm picking fights again, or whatever, like that. Because I see people doing shit, and they're going off like they're being this justified whatever. And it's like, you know, like, trying to be something, you know, they're going off about racism, and they're white, and so on like that. They're saying, like, you know, like, oh, the white privilege of this and whatever, like, it's like, what are you trying to pretend here? What are you're portraying something, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like, you're making so much noise about something that's going on, okay? And it seems like an act to me, you know? You know what I mean? And it rubs me the wrong way, you know? You can be prejudiced, hands down. Am I prejudiced? Probably, you know, a lot. Am I racist? Not even close. You know, am I a bigot? Not even close. But you can prejudge situations. You know, you're walking down a dark alley, you see a bunch of like gang member looking like people like swinging around chains and stuff like that. It's probably like, I'm probably going to be a little bit scared. You know, you know what I mean? Like, okay, shit's getting real in a minute here, right?
Well, I get what you're saying.
I just prejudge the situation, but they could just be like, you know, performing like, I don't know, like some sort of musical, and it's like I don't know what's going on, right? But I'm just judging the situation right off the bat. Right?
But that doesn't make you a bad person.
No, it doesn't. Right? It doesn't, right? No. And it's like the other side of it is like, yeah, you might prejudge, but when you pay attention, you can change that. Yeah. I mean, it's not you're not set in your ways. And so
sometimes I feel like I might be a little fucked up because I remember somebody said the word faggots in front of a bunch of people I knew, and they were just so insulted, and I was the only one that wasn't. And I was almost... This sounds weird.
We've used the term multiple times, though.
Right.
Okay? And
it's like... I don't think I've used it that many times.
I've probably, to be honest, in the room, I've probably been called fag probably more than yourself.
Probably,
I mean, to be honest. Like, I've been, like unbelievable like stories of things and so on, right? Is it a derogatory term? Of course it is.
It is.
You know,
it is.
It shouldn't be used, and so on. It's the term gay. Like I used to like hands down. I'm gonna wrap myself out here. Oh, that movie was really bad. Whatever. Like at the scene, the guy gets blown up and he flies out and he's like gets up off the ground or whatever. I'm like, that was fucking gay. I mean, like using a term like that, whatever, right? And then it's like wait a minute here, like. I'm using the term gay, like, what's it mean? Like, it's stupid. You mean, and it was never meant to be used in that term and so on. No. But growing up...
The Flintstones were having a gay old time,
exactly,
you know?
Gay old time, exactly. It's about happiness and so on.
They were like...
And it's like, the weird aspect is, you're using a term out of context. It doesn't mean anything to myself. I'm just, that was really gay, whatever. I'm just throwing it out there, like, left and right, whatever, like that. But really, though, I'm insulting a group of people for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I didn't mean to be doing that and so on like that. But when I realized it, you know, every so often, because I used it so much growing up, I catch myself using it, what have you like that. But when I catch myself, I give myself shit and be like, no, that's not right.
No, and I agree.
I'm using a word wrong for starters.
Right.
I mean, so I sound like I'm fucking retarded.
But as I get older, too, I can't stand when they use terms like, oh, that's sick. Because to me, sick is a bad, like somebody with... You know, disease, that's the shit. You know, it's like, that's a good thing now.
Yeah, I've been known to use those words and stuff like that. I've been coining using the term of coin. That takes a lot of coin, whatever, like that, right? Just I started it, and it's like it's starting to catch on a little bit. You know, like man, I got how much? You got any coin? Whatever, right? And it's like it's.
I do that with Mike funny, when I catch something ridiculous, like it must be making lots of bank, and he'll laugh because he knows I don't fucking talk like that. Right? It's like, where's that coming?
It becomes a part of you, though. If you're around people and you hear them, you become like the people you're around. If you hang out with a bunch of druggies, you know what? Look in the mirror. You're probably a druggie. If you're hanging out with a bunch of criminals, you're probably going to, if you're not already a criminal, you're probably going to buy into it and become a criminal in some way or feel pressured into doing it. If you're hanging out with assholes, you're probably an asshole.
I had a guy I worked with, and I said, he came up to me, and he was the asshole of the shop.
Yeah.
And he came up to me because he knew that even though I was like the sweet one, I would tell him the truth. And he said, you know, people call me asshole. Am I really an asshole? And
that's a fucking great question.
And I said, you know, here's what I'll give you.
Yeah.
And I said, because I personally, if you're an asshole to me, then you're an asshole to me. But here's what I figure. I said, if one person calls you an asshole, it's an opinion. If two people call you an asshole, it's a coincidence. If you start getting past 3, 4, you might want to look into yourself because you're getting...
Yeah, there's like, look deeper into it, right?
The moral majority is starting to agree on that.
I grew up and I always wanted to know, where is my place in life? How do people see me? You know, because a lot of times people, either they really, really like me, or they can't stand me.
Yeah.
They think I'm like too high and mighty or like what I don't
Which
know.
is two contrasts, right?
It's kind of I get where they're coming from. I'm very confident in a lot of my knowledge and so on like that. And I guess I can come across as egotistical or arrogant or what have you like that.
And some people don't like that.
I don't mean that. That's not my intent. I have a lot of information. I'm well read. Um, and if I know something, I know something. I'm not a know-it-all. Like the best invention is the internet. And now that I have a phone on me at all times, if somebody's saying something I don't know, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not quite sure. Boom, 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 look it up. I just became smarter. I just looked up instantly instead of having to go to the library like I did when I was a kid and look it up and take my time. And so now I can instant access to the world. You know, I use my technology to the maximum of the technology that it is. You know, and that's what I use that for, and so on, right? And it can be arrogant. I know I can come across as that. That's not my intent. I'm sorry if I come across that way. Forgive me. You know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't see.
But it's But if I know what people see me as, you know, like things like websites, hotornot.com, whatever like that, and you're putting on my profile picture and
you
whatever
never
like
did
that.
that.
Of course I did. I wanted to see what
really?
people think, right? You put on a shitty picture that you think is shit, and then you put on a pretty decent picture or whatever like that, right? You know, people like
I can't believe you did that. Really,
they judge you and stuff like that, right? And I want to see the brutality of what people have to say about me and so on, right? And for the most part, it was good. I was like
you were happy
fucking
with it?
blown away by it. I was like, wow, that's like a pretty good rating, you know? And a lot of times it's like, wow, that's really fucking hurtful, you know? And it's like, great, you know? And it's, you know, like a group of girls driving by in a car, they're like, you're fucking hot, whatever, drive by. I think they're fucking full of shit. You don't know me. You know, you're judging me on what, my clothes? What if I was dressed like a homeless guy? I'm the same fucking guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm wearing a leather jacket and I'm well groomed and so on, whatever like that. And it's like, I'm the same dude as if I was like if I stunk like shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, for me, it was all like this weird, crazy illusion. And I wanted to know where my place was in the world, right? And I still do to a lot of sense, you know. And
I think that's human nature.
You know, and
I
it's
think
like
some of us. I want to know, but I don't want to know at the same time.
It's like, I can't change it. Say you find out, like, oh, you're like fucking lowest of the low. Everybody hates you. What are you going to do about it? You have powerful knowledge. If you want to use it. If you care. Does their opinion, these people that told you this and so on like that, does their opinion really matter? Can you trust it? And so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you can and so on, then you have the power to change yourself, to become a better human. And that's my ultimate goal, is always to become a better man, a better person tomorrow than I was today. And sometimes I take the wrong path. And I'm like, you know what, I became, like, I don't like what I see or what I've done and so on like that. And I'll have to come back down the same path that I just went. I can't just go sideways. I have to come back, relearn what I made a mistake, and move on. You know, and it's you know, hopefully I didn't screw up too bad. You know, and so on, right? But I like to know my place. You know, it's like a feeling of safety and so on like that, for lack of better words, right? But but at the same time though, it's like I don't really care either like that, because it's like what you think. You know, if I'm like, oh, like, you think you're great, like the guy, he's like, am I an asshole? He thinks he's fucking great, and he's an asshole. It's better that he knows that he's an asshole, because tomorrow he won't be.
Yeah,
his whole life changed then at that point, right? But if he's like, I'm great, everybody loves me, and everybody's like, that fucking guy, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't shut up, you know? And it's like, you're going through life thinking that way, you know? And it's like I think about going home, and it's like, I worked really hard at work and stuff, and I see people at work that just suck. And they go home to their families and whatever like that, and it's like, they're sitting at the dinner table with their families, and they're like, oh, work was hard. How was work? And they're the hero of their family, whatever like that. But they fucking suck. You know what I mean? And it's like...
oh my God.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how I think. You know, like a lot of times, right? And I go home and I'm like, people are like, how was work? And I'm like, well, I fucked up today. I did this, whatever like that. And it's like, I tell them. No illusion at all at home where it's like, oh, dad's the hero. It's like, no, I really screwed up today. I might have lost my job, or I got demoted. I got this, whatever.
Yeah.
I tell them, you know? It's like, I hate my job. You know, Al Bundy. I used to watch that show. Like, I'm telling you, like if you haven't seen Married to Children, you got to watch Married to Children, and you will see how that warped my brain. watching that as a little kid.
Why people were
You know?
so offended by that show, because it was more realistic than we were seeing on the Cosby Show
The
and
show
stuff.
is amazing.
because-
He hated his life.
Yeah.
Hated his family.
Daughter was a
His
slut.
place,
His wife was...
as and so on like that. But if somebody fucked with the Bundys, they all got together and they destroyed whoever messed with them. Awesome. I love that show, and I'll love it to the day that...
No, it's a good show. And when it came out, they literally were... So many people were offended by it.
Yeah.
And I said the reason they're offended is because they're seeing their life...
Yeah.
Because they tried to see it in stuff like Cosby or Family Ties, and that wasn't their life.
Exactly.
But Married with Children's hitting close to the bone.
Close to the bone. And then Roseanne finished it.
Yeah,
Blue-collared workers, and they had problems in their marriage, and all this. Amazing show.
Yeah.
You know? But,
well, James, we have to wrap up, but we could just talk for...
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and you got to come back. And I think you should consider podcasting. You're going to look it up now. I know that at least.
You know, it's. I'd have to really feel a groove of something.
Yes.
And so on. Like I probably need help with understanding it, and so on. I'm just getting the momentum and what have you. Right.
But I put that seed in your head. I bet
it's something that I'm not opposed to. You know, and it's like if I could get an outlet for it, you know, and it's like and really see that this is, you know, get that this is what I'm doing. You know, and then having that vision to move forward.
Yeah, you need the
goal,
that.
You need the vision. So you're like, this is how I'm doing it. Oh, I'm going to talk about this, and so on. I'm planning it all out and whatever like that, or just letting it free flow. Yeah, I like to bounce ideas off of people and so on like that, and just talk about crazy things.
Well, you have an open invitation here.
Awesome.
We'll definitely have you back, and. Yeah, anytime you want to talk, it's very refreshing, and I hope people
It'll be weird.
enjoyed this.
It was a little nerve-wracking, whatever. I wasn't sure how it was going to flow or whatever like that.
And it was a positive,
experience.
You know, this isn't one of those things that I'm never going back.
Oh my God! You know? No, it's fine.
Well, thank you for being here. We are heading to the end, so we will talk to you again next time.